The city was broken. The walls were cracked, the air was heavy, and the ground was covered in dust that never seemed to leave. It was a place where humans and aliens lived side by side but never together. People walked fast, eyes on the road, never looking too long at each other. Fear had become normal. Distrust had become law. And in the middle of this world, there was her. She was small, thin, and almost invisible to most eyes. Her skin was hidden under layers of dirt. Her hair looked more like rope than hair, tangled, rough, and heavy. Her clothes were torn and smelled of old rain and smoke. To many, she was not a person anymore. She was a shadow that no one wanted to see. But the people did whisper. They always whispered. Too dirty to touch. Not human. Not even worth looking at. She should not be here. Every word was like a stone thrown at her, and yet she never spoke back. She sat on the cold stone ground near the market corner, her head low, her hands tight around her knees. Her eyes, when they lifted, were wide and bright, but people only looked away. To them, she was something dangerous, something cursed. No one remembered when she had come here. No one knew her name. No one cared. Every day, children threw small rocks at her. Every day, merchants kicked her away from their doors. Every day she waited, hungry, weak, and silent. Still, she remained. Why? No one asked. But she was not invisible to everyone. One man noticed, a human soldier, moving through the crowd. His uniform was dusty, his boots old, his eyes sharp from years of war. He had seen fear before. He had seen death before. He had seen cruelty before. But what he saw in her was something different. She did not fight back. She did not run. She did not even cry when people called her names. She only sat there waiting. Waiting for what? He could not understand. The soldier stopped. And the crowd moved around him, annoyed. Keep walking, someone said. She's not worth your time. But he did not listen. His eyes stayed on the girl. She was shaking, not from fear, but from cold. Her hands were red, almost bleeding. Her lips were cracked. She looked like she had not eaten in days. Still, when she noticed him looking, she lowered her head as if ashamed. And that made him take a step closer. Why, he thought. Why do they all call her dirty? Why do they treat her like trash? She is alive. She is breathing. She is someone. The whispers grew louder. Don't go near her. She's dangerous. She's cursed. But the soldier did not move back. He stood there, watching her, and for the first time in her life, she felt eyes on her that did not burn with hate. Eyes that did not look away. The world around them blurred. The voices became distant. It was only him, standing, and her, sitting in the dust. The soldier's hand twitched as if he wanted to reach out, but he did not. Not yet. Because something deep inside told him that this was not a simple moment. This was a beginning, and beginnings always came with danger. She lifted her eyes again. Just for a second, their gaze met. His, steady, hers, broken, but not gone. And in that silent moment, something changed. The whispers around them sounded like warnings, like threats. She's too dirty to touch. She's too dirty to save. But maybe, just maybe, that was why he could not walk away. The soldier stood still, his boots pressed into the dust. Around him, people kept moving as if nothing unusual was happening. But inside his chest, something was heavy, pulling him closer to the girl no one wanted. He had seen many strange things in his life. He had fought battles in dead cities, walked past broken machines that once ruled the skies, and seen humans and aliens tear each other apart. Yeah, this moment felt stranger than all of that. Because here was a small alien girl sitting in the dirt, ignored by the world. She was not armed. She was not a threat. She was just forgotten. The soldier's name was not important to the crowd. To them, he was only another man in uniform. But inside, he carried a weight no one could see. He had lost comrades in battle. He had buried friends. He had watched people die, whispering for mercy in their last breath. He had promised himself never to feel again. But now, standing in front of this fragile girl, that promise cracked. He crouched low so his eyes were level with hers. His shadow stretched over her, blocking the harsh light of the afternoon sun. She looked up once, then quickly looked down again, as if ashamed to meet his gaze. Her silence spoke louder than words. He opened his mouth to speak but stopped. What could he say? What words would matter to someone who had been kicked, spat on, and treated like less than nothing? The market buzzed around them. People bargained for food. Traders shouted prices. Children laughed in cruel tones, pointing at her from a safe distance. And still, the soldier stayed there, watching her, ignoring the noise. A man selling fruit shouted, "Hey, soldier, don't waste your time. She's not worth it." Another voice followed, sharp and mocking. "Touch her, and you'll regret it. That filth doesn't wash off." Laughter rose from the crowd. The soldier's jaw tightened. His hand slowly clenched into a fist, but he said nothing. Instead, he turned his focus back to her. She had pulled her knees closer, hiding her face, as if trying to make herself smaller. He noticed her arms, thin, almost bone-like. He noticed the cuts on her skin, fresh and old, the kind of wounds that never healed because no one cared to help. He reached into his pocket. His fingers brushed against a small piece of bread he had saved from earlier. It wasn't much, but it was something. He placed it gently on the ground in front of her. For a moment, she didn't move. She didn't. He trusted. Her eyes flicked from the bread to his face, searching for a trick. Was this a test? Would he take it back? Would he laugh like the others? The soldier's expression remained calm, almost soft. He gave no sign of cruelty. Finally, with trembling fingers, she reached forward. She grabbed the bread and held it close to her chest, as if afraid someone would steal it. And then, to his surprise, she didn't eat it. Instead, she hid it under her torn shirt. The soldier blinked. He understood. She wasn't saving it for later because she was full. She was saving it because her body had learned the truth of hunger. Food never lasted, and kindness never stayed. He exhaled slowly. His heart felt heavy again, but also determined. The whispers around him grew sharper. She doesn't deserve it. She's not one of us. You'll regret helping her. But he did not move. He could not. Something in him refused to leave her there. He spoke at last, his voice low but firm. "You shouldn't be out here alone." She froze at the sound of his words. Slowly, she lifted her head. Her eyes, wide, dark, shining with both fear and hunger, met his again, and for a second the market disappeared. There was only her and him. The soldier stood, offering his hand, not forcing, just offering. The crowd gasped. Some stepped back, as if even the sight of his hand near her might spread some invisible disease. But the girl only stared. Her fingers twitched. She wanted to reach out. She wanted to believe. But years of pain weighed on her shoulders. Trust was not easy. Trust was dangerous. She did not take his hand. Not yet. The soldier did not pull back. He let his hand stay there, steady, waiting. His eyes told her what his lips did not. "I will not hurt you." The world seemed to pause. The dust hung in the air. Even the laughter around them faded into silence. Something was inning. Something no one else in that market could understand. The soldier had crossed a line. He had noticed the one they all ignored. He had cared when no one else would. And though she did not take his hand that day, the spark had been lit. A spark that would grow into something far greater, something dangerous, something powerful. For both of them. The soldier did not forget her. That night, when the market had grown quiet and the crowd had disappeared, he returned. He found her in the same place, sitting against the stone wall, clutching the piece of bread he had given her. She had not eaten it. She was still saving it, still afraid it would be her last meal. He knelt down again, his voice calm. "Come with me," he said. She did not answer. Her eyes searched his face, waiting for cruelty, but none came. Slowly, carefully, she stood. Her legs trembled, weak from hunger, but she followed him. The soldier led her through narrow alleys, away from the market, away from the whispers. He guided her to a small shelter, half hidden by broken walls and old machines. It was not a home, not really, but it was a place where he slept when he returned from patrol. Inside, the air was warmer. A lantern glowed softly, casting shadows on the walls. There was a blanket on the floor, a few supplies, a small barrel of water he had saved. The girl stopped at the doorway. Her body stiffened as if expecting a trap. The soldier noticed. He raised his hands slowly, palms open. "You're safe here," he said. His voice was steady, not harsh like the others. She stepped inside. Her eyes darted to every corner, searching for danger, but she saw nothing except the soldier's things. Simple, ordinary things. He moved toward the barrel of water. He lifted the lid, showing her. Clear water shimmered in the lantern's light. Then he turned back to her. Her body was filthy, covered in layers of dirt, ash, and scars. Her hair clung to her skin, heavy and matted. The smell of the streets clung to her, the smell of a life no one cared for. He spoke gently. "You need to wash. The dirt is not who you are." She froze. No one had ever said those words to her. Her hands curled into fists. She shook her head. She did not trust him. She did not trust the water. She had been told too many times she was too dirty to touch. Maybe she even believed it herself. The soldier did not push her. He dipped his own hands into the water, then rubbed them together, showing her. Simple. Safe. She watched. Her eyes narrowed. Slowly, she stepped closer. The soldier found an old cloth. He dipped it in the barrel, then wrung it out. He held it out to her. For a moment, she stared at it as if it were some strange weapon. Then, with trembling fingers, she took it. She pressed the cloth to her arm. Brown water dripped down. The dirt began to fade. For the first time, pale skin appeared beneath. She froze again, staring, as if she had forgotten she even had skin beneath the filth. The soldier's eyes softened. See, it's still you. Her chest rose and fell. Slowly, carefully, she began to wipe more. Her arms, her face. The dirt came away, revealing not a monster, not a curse, but a girl, a child of flesh and blood, a living being. Tears stung her eyes, not from pain but from something else. She had almost believed the lies, that she was nothing, that she was not even worth touching, but now the truth was dripping down with every drop of dirty water. Still, her hands shook too much. She dropped the cloth. She looked at him, unsure, afraid to ask. The soldier picked up the cloth. He dipped it again, then moved slowly, so she could see what he would do. He touched her cheek with the cloth, gently wiping away the layers of grime. She stiffened, expecting pain, but none came. Only warmth, only care. The dirt fell away bit by bit, revealing soft skin beneath. Her eyes widened. She could not believe someone was doing this. No one had ever ouched her without hate. The soldier worked carefully, never rushing, never hurting. He cleaned her hands, her face, her arms. He poured some water into her hair, washing away years of neglect. The water turned dark in the barrel, proof of how long she had been left to rot. And when at last she looked into the reflection of the water, she gasped. She was still herself, but different. She was not a shadow anymore. She was a girl. The soldier met her eyes. His voice was quiet but firm. You are not dirty, not to me. Her throat tightened. She wanted to speak, but no words came. Instead, her body trembled, and for the first time in years, she felt something dangerous. Hope. The lantern flickered. Outside, the storm of whispers in the city still lived on. But inside that small shelter, something new was born. Not just clean skin, but the first step toward being seen. The girl sat near the small lantern, her wet hair clinging to her shoulders. The dirt was gone now, washed away into the barrel of dark water. Her skin shivered under the blanket the soldier had wrapped around her. She looked different, cleaner, softer, almost new, but inside, she still felt the same emptiness. She had no name. The soldier could see it in her eyes, the way she avoided her reflection, the way she hugged her knees as if holding herself together. Washing the dirt away had not erased the years of silence, hunger, and cruelty. She was still a ghost in her own mind. He sat across from her, watching quietly. His voice broke the silence. Do you have a name? The question made her freeze. She lifted her head slowly, her lips parting, but no sound came. He asked again, softer this time. Has anyone ever called you by a name? Her eyes lowered. She shook her head. Not once in her life had anyone given her that gift. People had called her filth, curse, trash, but never anything human, never anything kind. The soldier leaned forward. His voice carried weight now. Then I'll give you one. The girl blinked. She stared at him as if he had spoken something. Is impossible. A name? For her? She did not deserve it. Names were for people who mattered. Names were for children who were loved. Her mouth trembled. Why? She whispered. It was the first word she had spoken aloud to him. Her voice was weak, raspy, like a forgotten song. He did not hesitate. Because you are not nothing. His words hit her like a stone thrown into a still pond. Her chest tightened. Her hands shook. She wanted to believe, but belief was dangerous. Belief could break her heart. Still, the soldier smiled faintly. His eyes softened in a way that no one's ever had. He studied her for a moment, as though searching for the right word, the right sound. Then quietly, he spoke. He gave her a name. The sound of it was simple, gentle, and strong all at once. It echoed in the small room, filling the silence. It was not the name of filth or curse. It was the name of a person. Her lips parted. She repeated it under her breath, unsure, tasting the sound as if it might vanish. She said it again, louder this time. It felt strange, heavy, beautiful. Her chest ached, her throat burned. Tears slid down her cheeks before she could stop them. The soldier reached out, not to wipe her tears, but to let her know they were allowed. His voice was steady. Now, when people speak to you, they will know who you are. Not what they called you, not what they thought you were, but who you truly are. She pressed her hands to her chest, gripping the blanket tightly, holding the name close as if it might fly away. In all her years of being invisible, this was the first time she felt real. She whispered the name again and again, as if building strength with every breath. Each time she said it, a small spark lit inside her. For so long, she had been nothing. Now, she was someone. The soldier leaned back, watching her carefully. He could see the storm in her, fear, hope, confusion. But he also saw something else, something fragile but alive, the beginning of trust. Outside, the night was heavy. Shadows crawled along the broken streets. The city was still cruel, still whispering, still ready to strike. But inside the small shelter, a piece of light had been born. The girl looked up at him once more. She said the name he had given her, and this time her voice did not tremble. He nodded. Yes, that's who you are now. She closed her eyes, breathing the sound in, as if it could heal the scars carved into her soul. She knew the world outside would not change. People would still spit at her, still laugh, still hate. But now she had something they could not take. A name. It was more than a word. It was a promise, a shield, a seed of strength that would grow in time. The soldier understood. He had seen men broken by war, stripped of everything, but the ones who survived were the ones who held on to something, a memory, a word, a hope. Now she had one too. And though she did not yet know what it meant, she had stepped out of the shadows of nothing and into the light of someone. Her new life had begun, but beginnings always came with danger. Outside, in the darkness beyond the broken walls, unseen eyes watched. Whispers curled through the air, voices filled with anger. She has a name now. The human has given it to her. He should not have touched her. He should not have claimed her. The night held its breath. The girl clutched her blanket and whispered her name one more time. Inside the shelter, it was a soft sound of hope. But outside, it was the sound of rebellion, and rebellion always had a price. The girl lay curled in the corner of the shelter, clutching the blanket tight. Her body was cleaner now, her skin no longer hidden under dirt, and she had a name resting softly in her heart. But the shadows inside her mind were still heavy. For years, she had survived by trusting no one. Trust was dangerous. Trust meant pain. People who smiled could hurt you. People who offered food could ache it back. Every lesson of her life had been written in hunger, in bruises, in silence. And now, here she was, inside a soldier's shelter, wrapped in his blanket, holding his name in her chest. Her eyes stayed open long into the night. She watched him as he moved around the small room, checking his gear, setting things in order. His back was straight, his movements careful. He never came too close, never raised his voice. But still, she could not stop the fear. Her fingers slipped beneath the blanket. Hidden against her skin was the piece of bread he had given her earlier. She had kept it safe, untouched. She did not believe it was truly hers. Any moment he might take it away. When the soldier finally sat down, he noticed her clutching the blanket tight. His eyes softened. "You can eat," he said gently. "It's yours." She froze. She had thought he had forgotten about the bread. Slowly, with hesitant fingers, she pulled it out. Her eyes searched his face, waiting for anger, waiting for him to snatch it back. But instead, he smiled faintly. "Go on." Her hands shook as she lifted the bread. For a moment, she pressed it against her lips but didn't bite. She was afraid. Afraid it would vanish if she dared taste it. The soldier leaned forward, resting his arms on his knees. His voice was calm, steady, like stone. "No one will take it from you, not while you are here." Her throat tightened. Slowly, she took a bite. The dry bread crumbled in her mouth, but to her, it tasted like something rare, almost impossible. Safety. She ate fast after that, afraid it might disappear. The soldier watched quietly, not judging, not stopping her. When she finished, she hugged her knees again, her eyes lowering, but something in her chest felt warmer. She whispered her name, the one he had given her, almost as if reminding herself it was real. The soldier nodded, repeating it back. To her, steady and sure. Hearing it in his voice made her heart ache. For the first time, the sound of her own name felt like protection. Still, fear lingered. She thought of running when he slept. She thought of slipping into the alleys, back to the shadows she knew. Trusting him was dangerous. If he turned on her, it would hurt more than anything before. But her body betrayed her. She was too tired, too weak. Her eyelids grew heavy. She fought to stay awake, to keep watching him, to make sure he did not change when the night grew deeper. The soldier noticed her struggle. He pulled the blanket higher around her shoulders. "Rest," he said softly. "You are safe." Safe. The word felt heavy, strange, almost impossible. She wanted to laugh. She wanted to cry. Instead, she whispered back, "Safe?" As if testing if the word could belong to her. "Yes," he said firmly. "Safe." Her chest tightened. She had never heard that word meant for her. Slowly, her eyes closed. Sleep pulled at her, soft and heavy. For the first time in her life, she did not sleep on cold stone or in dark alleys. For the first time, someone had given her a place, a blanket, and a promise. But outside, the city was not silent. In the darkness beyond the broken walls, shadows moved. Men with cruel eyes whispered to one another. They had seen the soldier take her in. They had seen her walk with him. "She was not meant to be touched," one hissed. "He broke the rule," another answered. "She belongs to no one, not even to him." Their voices carried in the night, but inside the shelter, she slept, her small body curled under the blanket, her breath soft and even. The soldier stayed awake. He cleaned his weapon, he checked the doors, he listened to the storm outside and the whispers beyond. He knew danger was coming. But when his eyes returned to her, sleeping at last without fear, he made a silent vow. If the world wanted to take her again, it would have to go through him first. And that, he thought, was a fight worth having. The night outside grew colder. Wind pushed us, roughed the cracks in the ruined city walls, carrying dust and broken voices. But inside the small shelter, the lantern's weak light still burned. The soldier sat against the wall, sharpening his blade in silence. The girl lay curled on the floor, wrapped in the blanket he had given her. She had eaten. She had spoken her name. She had slept. For most people, these were small things. For her, they were miracles. But the floor was hard, the stone uneven. She shifted often, trying to make herself comfortable. Her body was still weak, still sore from days of hunger and nights in the cold. Each time she moved, the blanket slipped, and she hurried to pull it back. The soldier noticed. His sharp eyes had been trained to see everything. The tremble of her hands, the way her shoulders curled inward, the faint shiver that ran through her frame. He spoke quietly. "You don't belong on the ground." The girl stiffened. She looked up, confused. What did he mean? She was used to the ground. It was all she had ever known. The soldier pushed his weapon aside. He tapped the small bed in the corner of the shelter. It wasn't much, a simple frame, a thin mattress, sheets worn from years of use, but compared to the cold stone floor, it was paradise. "Here," he said, "sleep here." Her eyes widened. She shook her head quickly. No, she couldn't. Beds were not for her. Beds were for people who belonged, who mattered. She had spent her whole life told she was filth. How could she now climb onto something clean, something soft, something that wasn't hers? She whispered, her voice breaking. "No, I don't." The soldier stood. His presence filled the small room, but his eyes stayed calm. He pulled the blanket from the floor, lifted it, and placed it neatly on the bed. Then he stepped back, his hand motioning toward it. "You deserve it," he said simply. Her chest tightened. The words struck cutting against everything she had ever been told. Deserve? No one had ever used that word for her. Still, her feet would not move. Her heart pounded in her chest. If she climbed onto the bed, would he laugh? Would he drag her off? Would the whispers outside be right, that she was too dirty to touch, too unworthy to rest where others had rested? The soldier saw her fear. Slowly, he sat down on the edge of the bed himself. He leaned back, showing her that it was safe, that it would not break. Then, with steady eyes, he said, "Look, even I can rest here, and if I can, so can you." Her lips trembled. She took a small step forward, then another. Her bare feet brushed the edge of the bed frame. She froze, her body shaking. The soldier waited, patient. He did not rush her. Finally, with trembling hands, she climbed up. She sat on the edge of the bed, her body stiff as a stone. The blanket slipped from her shoulders, and she clutched it tight again, unsure. The soldier pulled the blanket higher, covering her carefully. "Lie down," he said softly. She lowered herself slowly, her body stiff with fear. The mattress gave beneath her, soft in a way she had never felt. She gasped, eyes wide, as if the bed itself were magic. Her hands clutched the sheets. Soft, she whispered. The soldier gave a faint smile. Yes, that's how it's meant to be. Tears pricked her eyes. She had never known comfort could exist. For years she had been cold stone, rough dirt, sharp edges digging into her skin. And now, this. Her body trembled again, but not from fear this time, from relief. The soldier stepped back, giving her space. He returned to the wall, picking up his weapon again. He would not take the bed from her. It was hers tonight. But she did not close her eyes yet. She turned to him, her voice small. Why? Are you doing this? He looked at her for a long time before answering. His voice was quiet, almost too quiet to hear. Because someone should have done it long ago. Her chest ached. She pressed her face into the blanket, hiding tears that came. For the first time in her life, she felt human. Not a curse. Not filth. Human. Her eyes grew heavy. The warmth of the blanket and the softness of the bed pulled her into sleep. Her breathing steadied, her body relaxed. The soldier watched her, his eyes sharp, his heart heavy. Outside, he could hear faint whispers in the dark. They had not gone away. They were waiting, watching. But tonight, she would sleep, and he would make sure nothing touched her. The girl slept. Her breath was slow, steady, and soft. Her thin body was curled beneath the blanket, her head resting on the soldier's worn pillow. The bed cradled her like something holy, like a secret she was never meant to touch. For the first time, she dreamed not of hunger or cold, but of warmth. The soldier sat against the wall, weapon across his lap. He did not sleep. His eyes stayed sharp, his ears tuned to every sound outside. He had lived too many nights on the battlefield to let his guard fall. And tonight, he felt it, the weight of unseen eyes pressing against the shelter walls. The whispers came first, drifting on the wind like smoke, faint but sharp, just enough to stir the silence. She sleeps in his bed. He has touched her. He broke the rule. The soldier's grip tightened on his weapon. He scanned the doorway, the cracks in the walls, the shadows that shifted outside. He could not see them, but he knew they were there, watching, waiting. The girl stirred in her sleep, murmuring her name, the one he had given her. The sound was fragile, like a candle flame trembling in the dark. The soldier's chest ached. That small name was now the most dangerous thing in the city, because names meant belonging, names meant value, and the world outside did not want her to have either. The whispers grew bolder. She was nothing. She must remain nothing. The human has made a mistake. He will pay for it. The soldier's jaw tightened. He thought of the crowd at the market, the cruel laughter, the stones thrown at her. He thought of her shaking hands, hiding food, as if kindness could never be real. And he thought of her eyes when he gave her a name. He had made his choice. If the world came for her, it would not find her alone. The wind slammed against the walls, rattling the lantern. Shadows stretched long, bending across the floor like claws. The soldier rose slowly, moving to the doorway. He stood there, a dark figure framed in the flickering light, his weapon steady in his hands. Outside, faint shapes shifted, too many to count. Their eyes glowed faintly, reflecting the lantern's light like predators in the dark. She belongs to no one, a voice hissed. She belongs to the dirt. She must be erased. The soldier's voice cut through the night, calm but hard as steel. She belongs here, with me. Silence followed, heavy, dangerous. Then came the laughter, low, cruel, endless. The kind of laughter that belonged to men who enjoyed the hunt. Behind him, the girl stirred again. She whispered her name once more, unaware of the danger gathering outside. The sound reached him, small but strong, and it pushed the soldier's heart into fire. He whispered back, though she could not hear, "Hold on to it. No one will take it from you." The shadows outside shifted closer. The soldier stepped forward, his boots crunching against the broken stone. He raised his weapon, eyes steady, shoulders firm. The storm was coming. He could feel it in the air, taste it in the dust. But he did not step back. He would not step back. Behind him was a girl who had spent her life on the ground, in the dirt, invisible. Tonight she was in a bed, wrapped in a blanket, carrying a name that gave her life. And if the world wanted to take that from her, it would have to go through him first. The whispers sharpened into words of anger, words of threat. Then you will fall with her. You will regret this. You cannot protect her forever. The soldier's answer was simple. His voice cut the darkness like a blade. Watch me. The lantern flickered once, then went out. Darkness swallowed the room. The only sound left was the girl's steady breathing, soft and innocent, while outside, the night filled with footsteps. The storm had begun, and the story was only just starting.